What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. The Titans did not, losing at the Indianapolis Colts. Final score was 23-16. Ryan Tannehill in the offense had 1 minute left, 75 yards to go, and no timeouts, and could not get it done. And the Titans drop and snap a 5-game winning streak over the Colts and are now at 2-3 on the season. That could have been a big-time game for the Titans to get above 500 and take control of the AFC South, but a lot of things went wrong. And we're going to talk about them, a lot of them. And Zach has one singular reason why he thinks the Titans lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Yesterday, neither of us were on the pregame, halftime, or postgame show. So I've got all of my emotions built up inside, ready to get let out because there's a lot to discuss here, Zach, and we're going to have a good show doing it. We'll ask you guys, what is the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts? We'll discuss Kristian Fulton, the elephant in the room, here already this morning. Kristian Fulton's bad season continues, so we'll discuss that. And after all the negativity, we'll do some fun with the age game. I don't know if it's going to be Kristian Fulton related for the age game today, Zach, because usually you find some way to Kevin Bacon the age game into the show conversation. So we'll see which direction you go with that. But welcome in. Titans, not a victory Monday, third straight loss on the road. So let's get this thing rolling here, Zach. Welcome in.
It's not Kristian Fulton, who is 25 years old. It is somebody else. So I won't tell you who it is, but it is somebody else.
So we're flipping the age game. So now we know the answer.
It's not Kristian Fulton. That's not the question. That's not who we're going to diagnose their age. It's somebody else. But Kristian Fulton is 25 years old. Okay. He won't be a part of today's age game. But we are going to have a big show. There's a lot of, I think, angry Titans fans. I think there's a lot of angry Titans players after yesterday's game, right? They don't like getting punched in the mouth. A lot of things happened with, injuries, near injuries, bad play, and ultimately the Titans moved to 2-3 on the season as they get ready to go across the pond. So I don't know if that's good or bad timing to get reset. But they've got that on the horizon. We are broadcasting live on 3 different platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will tweet out segment by segment or X out, however you want to say it, our YouTube links on our Twitter/X handle at A to Z Sports. A great follow there. We interact. We give opinion. We give video pregame. You got postgame, press conferences. That's where to get locked in. Make sure you follow us at A to Z Sports on our Twitter/X account. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is the easiest, probably most efficient way to watch our live streaming shows and get all the content there. That's A to Z Sports Nashville on YouTube. You can go ahead and search that and subscribe. If you've already subscribed, which a lot of you guys already have, go ahead and like this video. It helps the algorithm. It helps get more Titans fans involved. And that's what we want to do in growing the community and growing the conversation. So get locked in, subscribe if you have not already. And on Facebook, what's going on, Facebookers? We're back in action out of Facebook jail or whatever the hell we were in a couple of weeks ago. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing, as we say on this show. So share the show around. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. So Monday morning, let's get this party started.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered as always by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Link to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go to make them a part of your new car buying process. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans, get better with Farm Bureau Health Plans. That means better coverage rates and service when you start your process at fbhp.com/ATOZ. The OR app, keeping us safe online. You can get a 2-week free trial with our sponsor at using our link, aura.com/ATOZ. And Krebs Kubota, an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the mid-state. That's Murfreesboro, Franklin, Columbia. Their website is KrebsKubota.com. So, Zach, the elephant in the room is Kristian Fulton, and we will discuss a lot of Kristian Fulton today. throughout this show. He's going to be a part of it. His bad season in a contract year continues. Typically the opposite of what you see from NFL players in contract years. Usually go out and play well and earn a deal, but Kristian Fulton's trending another way. We will discuss that at length here momentarily. But the Titans lose 23-16. Zach Moss, on the day after Jonathan Taylor gets a bunch of money from the Colts, Zach Moss runs for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Altogether, Zach Moss had 195 yards from scrimmage on 27 touches, if you include 30 pass catch yards. Zach Moss beat the Titans beat the Titans, and the Titans are 2-3. And let's go to head coach Mike Vrabel on, why you lose.
That's why you lose, right? That's, so if you don't score in the red zone and you don't stop the run and you don't get off on third down, you're probably going to lose. I'm not trying to be funny by any means, but that's what happens, and makes it really hard to win.
Are you concerned that those things aren't?
When we don't do them, sure, I'm concerned, right? You know what I mean? I got to go find out why, and was it they blocked us too. It wasn't like, so we'll figure out why they blocked us, and we had pass rushers and guys going, and they will figure out what it was and how we can be better.
So there's Mike Vrabel. The Titans did not stop the run, gave up a ton of rushing yards to Indianapolis. They did not score touchdowns in the red zone. 1 touchdown, 4 red zone trips on the day, and they could not get off the field on third down against Gardner Minshew, who came in after Anthony Richardson went down. And I don't know if you saw the report this morning. Anthony Richardson reportedly having a grade 3 AC joint sprain in his shoulder, his throwing shoulder, that from Ian Rappaport. So he's going to go to IR, probably going to miss at least a month or so on that. But the Colts were 8 of 13 on third down. That's a losing recipe. We talk about the winning formula that Mike Vrabel has in all of our post-game shows with the Venture Science Center. They did not do very well in the winning formula for Mike Vrabel. Zach, what do you think about the head coach's statement there and the game as a whole?
Well, real quick on Anthony Richardson, I felt like when he got hurt, that was going to be a negative thing for the Titans because you now have an efficient, experienced backup quarterback. He doesn't have, Minshew doesn't have the skill set or athleticism to, make unbelievable plays, but he didn't have to. All he had to be was good enough to manage the football game. He managed them to a win. So
real quick on that, because I was live on TikTok for basically the whole first half. And I was on there, and as soon as Richardson went down, and it was very clear that he wasn't coming back, I said, Gardner Minshew is going to beat the Titans. And it's live on TikTok with some of you guys who watched me for the first time doing that we'll build on. I immediately knew Gardner Minshew will beat the Titans because we talked about it later in the week. The whole week, you're game planning for how you rush a guy like Anthony Richardson, and then you completely flip the script on yourself when Gardner Minshew comes in the game.
And they almost got to him a couple of times, but Minshew ended up making the throws. He did not make the mistake. His passer rating was like 115 or something. So he was exactly what the Colts needed in that spot. Now, here's with a backup quarterback. Can he consistently do it over a month, right? Or is he going to be 2-2, 1-3, 1-4? Like, we don't know what his record's going to be.
He beat the Ravens a couple weeks ago.
He did. He's proven that. But consistency, right? There's a reason why he's a backup quarterback. So that's on that side. For the Vrabel side, I think that the frustration in Vrabel's voice in that press conference, which is very understandable, is the Indianapolis Colts beat the Tennessee Titans the way the Tennessee Titans usually beat their opponent. They won at their own game, and that was unique for a Titans team. Usually they don't get hit in the mouth by a running back, dominate, and not force turnovers, not force mistakes, and have extended drives like the Colts had. I said this last week, and it is the truth. The Titans are a 20-17 team. They are, and they always will be. They're not a 30-point offense like we saw in 2020. They're not that team. They are a 20-17 team. They average 17 points per game, and they can win or they can lose. But if you play like they played and defensively play like they played at the end of that game yesterday, you're going to lose 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, look, it was pretty pathetic. I thought the Titans absolutely missed T.R. Tart when it came to run stopping because he was out with his knee injury and Zach Moss had himself a day. It was really a painful thing to watch the Titans get a heavy dose of their own medicine, especially in a game the Titans should have won. The Tennessee Titans should be a better football team in the year 2023 than the Colts, but the Colts were better yesterday. And you heard a lot of Titans players say that in the locker room. The Colts were better today. One guy didn't say it. We'll talk about him a lot later, but the Colts were way better than the Titans were. And so we'll talk about a lot of reasons on why the Titans lost. And you've got your singular reason that we're going to get to.
Jeffrey Simmons, that scare with the shoulder, I thought they were going to be in deep trouble if he wasn't going to be, because Tart didn't play, right? He wasn't dressed.
Inactive, yeah.
So you already saw the impact of that early on when Al-Shaair, that was a scary moment. I rewound the TV. I was like, I got to see what happened. But Simmons was able to come back. I don't know what the extent of that is. Did he just shake it off? Is he fine? But there was a gap in the center of the Titans defense, which is unusual that we've seen in the past. And the Colts and Zach Moss took advantage of that.
Yes, they absolutely did. So we heard from Mike Vrabel there. Let's go ahead and ask our question here, Zach, to get you guys more involved here. Because, Zach, you, in our pre-show meeting with Sam and us two, you're like, I got the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts. So let's ask everybody, what's the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts yesterday? 23-16 was that final score. But first, Krebs Kubota, they can help you out with any of your equipment needs. KrebsKubota.com is their website to go check them out. They are an elite Kubota dealer with 3 great locations in the mid-state. That's in Murfreesboro, Columbia, and in Franklin. Again, their website, KrebsKubota.com. By being an elite Kubota dealer, you get the best equipment in the industry and the best warranties in the industry. Sometimes I think GMs wish they could have a warranty on first and second round draft picks, but that's not how that works. But it does work very well when it comes to your equipment with Krebs Kubota. They've also got the best customer service in the industry too, with the Krebs family name. They've been serving Middle Tennessee for over 18 years, and they have 3 great locations. Again, Murfreesboro, Franklin, and Columbia, online at KrebsKubota.com.
A to Z Sports, we were powered by BetMGM. Had a little up and down weekend on BetMGM. Had my highs, and then last night had my lows as I had the Cowboys plus 3.5. Thought they were going to play a lot better than they actually did. 49ers are damn good. Real good. The Eagles are real good. Both teams undefeated. You can get it on the action tonight. You got Raiders Packers tonight in Las Vegas. A to Z Sports is the bonus code. They are the king of the sports book.
All right, so what's the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts? Zach, you have the answer.
Let me take over real quick before we get to the singular reason, because we got a lot of things running through. Yeah. I do want to say, and I thought the one word. I think Kevin Byard describes the one word perfectly. Kevin Byard tells us the one word of the game. I know Jack and Sam did the post-game show yesterday, asked you guys one word. I'm curious what your one word is, Austin, but Kevin Byard literally because that's what I usually do. When things go wrong, where do you go? You go to the leadership. Who's in charge, right? Because they have the responsibility. When things go awry, whether it's a company, whether it's a team, who's going to put out the fire? They usually know the singular reason. You go to the coach and the most efficient leadership-driven player. That's Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard tells us right here his one word. Uncharacteristic.
Apparently,
That's what
I
Kevin
don't know.
Byard.
Could you guys not hear that? It looks like the comment said that there was no sound on the Kevin Byard audio, which makes no sense because that was cut the same way that the Vrabel video was cut when we had audio. So I don't understand why there wasn't.
Man, I don't know. I heard every word of it.
I heard every word that he said. One word and all the words. So I don't know why that
Maybe Zuckerberg. I mean, there's silence for a period of time.
This is not Zuckerberg.
Apologize.
It's YouTube. It's Facebook. It's everybody saying there's no audio. So I have no idea why that didn't cut audio because Zach and I had audio. So, all right. So,
well, I will characterize what Kevin Byard said. The point I was trying to get to was the main point that he said to start is uncharacteristic. I thought that the Titans were very uncharacteristic of how they want to play football. And Austin, I'm going to extend this on both sides of the ball. We talked about their run defense. Their run defense is usually what they hang their hat on. How many times in the broadcast did Archuleta was like, their run defense? What about the run defense? This is the middle of their defense is really good to stop the run. We know that. But that was really, really bad. And if you can run the football, you can control the clock. And the Colts did that at the end. Austin, another thing that I saw yesterday, uncharacteristic on the offensive side, I didn't think this was like the worst thing in the world, but didn't you feel like they were more of a pass-happy team than their traditional run sets that we are used to, at least Tim Kelly in the short term of what we've seen this season? I felt like it was a different style of offense. Now, the problem is, they didn't score many touchdowns. They scored one and kicked a bunch of field goals. So it's the same old Titans offense, but it was different in a sense. I know they didn't win, but still, I think it goes to Kevin Byard's one word and my one word, which is uncharacteristic within those two facets, at least.
Yeah, it was very strange. I think my one word was just like whiffed. I mean, because you whiffed on an opportunity to take a hold of the AFC South, and you whiffed on Zach Moss all the time throughout that game. And so I don't understand, if you want to, I don't understand why the defense was so bad. And I don't know is this a one-off? Is this a situation where the defense has just had a completely awful day and that's not who they are? Because we've talked throughout that, hey, this is the best run defense over a 7-game stretch in NFL history since 2007. That was a real stat on that sliding 17-game stretch. They hadn't allowed a 100-yard rusher in a long time until Zach Moss did it damn near the first half. And so that was very uncharacteristic, but also whiffing on a massive opportunity. As for the offensive point that you made, I didn't have a problem with the play calling, really, until the tail end of that game, because they moved the ball quite a bit. And there's like, we always talk, if you've watched our show for the 7 years we've been doing it on this platform, excuses and reasons. There are both exist, and there's a fine line between what is a reason and what is an excuse. I do think there are a couple reasons why they went 1 for 4 scoring touchdowns in the red zone. And it's really easy to pinpoint once you go back and look at it. But in the moment, you're like, why is it so difficult for this team to score touchdowns in the red zone on the road? Because right now, they've got 1 in 3 games. 1 touchdown on the road in 3 games, and it took a trick play to do it. It's like they haven't been able to score traditional touchdown on the road. It's kind of nuts. But
that's the Titans. They're a field goal team. They always have been.
Yeah, but at home they don't
always won't be.
They scored 21 points in the second quarter against the Bengals. At home, they scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but that's not consistent. Just like the Cowboys scored 40-plus points and they get boat raced. Like
that's not my point. You're taking my point. My point is the Titans have problems scoring inside the red zone, and there's a lot of reasons for it. And there's not one reason why. It's a bunch of different things. It's not having a very wide margin of error is what it is.
Okay, let's get to the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts. I'm going to read some comments because I think it was a singular moment. They're talking about reason where we knew we were going to get Kristian Fulton with Cioto coming in there. Shane Bowen coming in there from Roy, not scoring touchdowns from Mike. Orlando says there's no singular reason. Some other comments. Brett says red zone, run defense in general from Jaron. It's just so weird to hear these comments because you usually don't put it on the defense. But yesterday, the defense was bad. Rush defense from Scott, red zone from Brad, Fulton from Shakur. Fulton from Jay, Shane Bowen from Steven, execution from Eric, run defense from Pistol. Vrabel says Eric, because we suck from Michael. Jonathan says everything. Execution from Tyler. Defense was MIA. Colts offensive line, which you do have to tip your cap to the Colts offensive line because
and
they played.
Yes.
They played really well, and
Yep.
there's reasons, right, of why the run defense may have been as bad as it was. Maybe, you credit both other sides. The defense was suspect. Lack of tackling, scoring field goals, not touchdowns. So here is I thought and the NFL does this. I think it's one of the best things that the NFL films came up with, which is turning point, right? The turning point of this game is the easiest thing to point out. It is 4th and 2, almost about to score in the red zone. And I believe the play calling overall, I didn't have necessarily a problem with him. I thought it was very creative from Tim Kelly. But I thought on 4th and 2, you got too cute and you did not do what your identity has shown Tim Kelly over the last 2 years he's been a part of the organization. You could have gotten a wildcat. You could have pulled Jeffrey Simmons in there. You probably wouldn't have done that with his shoulder. But you can go big boy football instead of lining up in the shotgun. I thought it was the smart decision to go for it on 4th down because I think that if you take the points there, I think the same outcome probably happens and you don't win the game. Your defense was performing uncharacteristic all game long up until that point. But I thought that the turning point and the singular reason why they lost was that play on 4th and 2. I think if you get in the end zone, it's a completely different game. Different game.
Because you take the damn lead.
But that play call was the singular reason, and the rest of the game showed that.
All right.
Because they didn't get another opportunity. They got no the last opportunity they got, though, Austin, what do I always say? What do you do? And I usually say this with Sam. Where is Derrick Henry with a minute left and no timeouts, and you need to go get 7 points? Guys, chat, this is my example. We finally got my example that I've been preaching all summer long. Where's Derrick Henry with a minute left and no timeouts? This is reality. And you need to go get a touchdown, not a field goal. I sat there and I was like, this is it. Well, Derrick Henry's on the sidelines because he can't do a damn thing.
So I have I want to take what you said. I don't think that's the singular reason why the Titans lost to the Colts. I think there was a lot of other reasons why, but that was a big one, right? And the failure by the Titans on 4th and 1 is the Titans as a franchise, a microcosm for this franchise's failure to adapt to today's NFL. I'm going to expand on that, but first, Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau health plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan years ago, and I'm glad that I did. I still have Farm Bureau health plans because I believe in their plan and I believe in their coverage. 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee, health, dental, and vision. They've been in business over 75 years. If you are a Tennessean, you should go check this out. At least get a quote. There's no pressure to absolutely change, but I got a quote. I looked at the coverage. I looked at the plan. And I said, this is kind of a no-brainer. This makes the most sense for me. It can make the most sense for you and your family, whether it's you individually or you've got wife, kids, you've got a husband and kids, doesn't really matter. 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. It's FBHP, Farm Bureau Health Plans, FBHP.com/A to Z.
And with BetMGM, you can win with our bonus code. We got two of them. We've got ATOZ200. So if you sign up using our bonus code ATOZ200, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly if you sign up with ATOZ200 and place a $10 moneyline wager on any pro football game. That wager doesn't have to win. You can lose, but you're still going to get $200 in bonus bets instantly just for signing up with BetMGM. That's with code ATOZ200. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. First online room money wager only. Rewards issued in knowledgeable bonus bets. Bonus bets expire 7 days. And for problem and gambling support, call Tennessee Redline 800-889-9789. So, Zach, you said the singular reason why the Titans lost is because they failed to get 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line with 8 minutes left in the game, trailing by 4, right? If they get that, they have a great chance, 4 more downs to score a touchdown, to take a 3-point lead, and then potentially take off another minute, maybe 2 minutes from the clock in doing so, right?
And you have Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and it's 4th and 1,
who
right?
traditionally scores if you run them the correct way.
Zach, what was the formation the Titans tried to run on 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line?
Shotgun.
Zach, if you watched our show, you know I've married into a Philadelphia Eagles family. Well, yesterday I watched the Eagles beat the Rams with my brother-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my wife. We met up and watched the game together. The Philadelphia Eagles are dominating the NFL right now, and they're also going to force a rule change. The tush push will no longer be allowed next year. But guess what? It's allowed right now. How many times have the Titans attempted to run a tush push? 0. This is another example of the Tennessee Titans being stubborn as hell and not taking what the league is giving you, right? The Tennessee Titans are refusing to adapt to every NFL rule that benefits the offense and making offense like root canals. They did it against the Browns. They've done it now yesterday. If it's 4th and 1, get your ass under center and go do it. Your whole thing about Aaron Brewer being as tough as a $2 steak, run behind him on 4th and 1. Do a quarterback sneak, damn it. It's 4th and 1. Get Derrick Henry's 6'4", 265-pound ass and push Ryan Tannehill. Go get 1 yard. What are you doing? Everybody is doing it, so do it. It's not going to be allowed next year, but it is right now. Why are you so stubborn to not do something that's working? Like the Jalen Hurts and the Eagles must have ran it 4 times yesterday, and the whole bar chanted "Fly, Eagles, fly," because it was successful every time. Every time. So why can the Tennessee Titans not just be like, okay, something's working in the league, let's do that, instead trying to make it as difficult as possible? It's 1 yard. The game is on the line. Go get the 1 yard. Don't spread out in shotgun, 5 wide motion, Derrick Henry back and try to run your ginormous running back out of shotgun. If you're under center with Derrick Henry behind you, even if you don't want to tush push, you at least have the idea of a quarterback sneak to catch him off guard because they're expecting Derrick Henry. I don't understand why the Titans make it so hard on themselves.
Well, and what do the Eagles do? They get A.J. Brown and Dallas Goedert right in a wing T formation,
yes.
and they just push. Get Jeffrey Simmons and Derrick Henry in a small wing T and Ryan Tannehill under center and push his tush.
Like, it hit me yesterday. In like the 4th quarter, the Eagles win over the Rams. Like, why haven't the Titans attempted this? Are they that stubborn? Ryan Tannehill's really good at quarterback sneaks. Do you guys remember a time in Ryan Tannehill's career as a Titans quarterback that he has not gotten a quarterback sneak? He's long, he's tall, he's strong, he's athletic. He can do it. He's very good at it, but you don't do it in that moment. I don't get it. Instead, you line up in shotgun.
Well, that's why I'm saying the singular reason why they lost, I believe, was that moment. Whether they did the tush push or they did the wildcat or they just ran in a single back formation and handed the ball off to the right side or the left side, or run right over your first round pick, Peter Skoronski, right? You drafted him for a reason. Do like that. And that's where I thought that they lost the game. Now, was it odd? And I would say I'll answer the question yes, because it's uncharacteristic for then the Colts to get the ball back and run 7 minutes and 3 seconds off of a 14-play drive all the way down and use up all the Titans timeouts. Like, that was unique, but you're close to the end zone. And the Titans have already told us traditionally this year, they don't consistently get across that line.
Yeah.
So they should have handled that differently. And I thought that was the turning point of this game. And ultimately they lost this game.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I agree. And so, like, is that one play the singular reason why they lost?
I think
No,
so.
I think the singular reason of why they lost the game is because they only had one touchdown and 4 red zone trips. Because the
Yeah,
Titans
but
defense,
that happens quite a bit with
hold
this
on.
team.
But I'm gonna go deeper into this too, because the Tennessee Titans defense, somebody commented this, I forget where it was, on one of our social platforms, saying the Titans defense held the Colts to 20 points for 99.9% of that game. That should be enough. Especially if you're giving up all those yards, but you still hold the Colts to 20, you should be able to score more than 16, especially if you get in the red zone 4 times.
Austin, they averaged 17.6.
No, I know that's what, but like I'm saying, but the problem is it's the red zone scoring is a massive problem. And if you go back and look at it in the red zone, and I was again live on TikTok for the first half, basically the whole first half, from the Titans' first possession on, they moved down the field all the way down in that first drive. They get down there. They got down there by being successful on first down, whether it was a play action pass or a run to Derrick Henry. They got them in second and good spot to then continue to progress the drive. On 1st and 10 in the red zone, that's when they tried the Derrick Henry toss pass to Hopkins, and he missed it by 2 inches, right?
Oh, you know what? I had $10 on DeAndre Hopkins score the first down plus 1,000. It got me $100. I was a toe away from $100.
And Derrick Henry, to his credit, said he should have gotten rid of the ball sooner, right? He was a hair
He's not
late.
a quarterback, right?
No, he's a hair late. And so, but again, that put them at 2nd and 10 in the red zone. Then they end up kicking a field goal. Then the other 2 times they got down there and couldn't do it, they got penalized on first down twice. And so they got into 1st and 17 and then 1st and 20. That led them to kicking field goals. Ryan Tannehill talked about this. And then you had the 1-yard stop on 4th and short. So those are their failures, are Derrick Henry barely overthrowing DeAndre Hopkins on a trick play that got them behind on 2nd and 10. And 2nd and 10 on the 15-yard line is a tough spot to be in because it's very condensed. And then being 1st and 20 and 1st and 17, those lead to field goals just about every time.
All right, let's read some super chats. Kick It to the King Production says, as bad as the rush defense was, the defense held the Colts to 20 points, 99% of
I knew
the
I
game.
saw it somewhere.
You got to score more than 1 touchdown. Yeah, that was jackpot bucks right there.
Yeah, it was.
Right? You got to score more than 1 touchdown on offense to win games. I wouldn't have forced Fulton to fly commercial where he would have forced. We'll talk about Kristian Fulton here later in the show. Landon says, question of the day, how many off seasons does it take to fix the cornerback position? We will address that here a little bit later. We can answer that question for the Titans. So far, they've racked up quite a bit of offseason. So that's actually a pretty good question from Landon.
As many licks as it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
Amnesia says, just like last season, the Titans cannot beat above 500 teams. Dumb penalties kill this team. Kick It to the King Productions also says 638 days since they scored 28 points in a game. That's a long, long time. Man, that is a long, long time.
I think instead of days, because there's more days in a year that are off season than there are in season, right? So I think we should go
sobering.
I think we should go
in or out.
How many games have the Titans play without scoring 28 or more? Because that's just as long. It's bad.
Let's see. Elks, who is Big Ten Jeff, says, this is his burner account. Imagine if the Titans took a wide receiver instead of reaching for Will Levis. It's D-Hop or nothing when passing. Also, thanks for Josh Downs. And Big Ten Jeff brings up Josh Downs, and it will probably get to him here in the next segment. I mean, you talk about a guy that ate lunch all day. That was a really incredible performance. Josh Downs, 6 receptions, 97 yards, an average of 16.2 off of 6 targets with a long of 38. He ate all day. And in key moments, too, I think that was also a big deal for there. Andre says, bad coaching of a bad roster is a problem. And Kane says, y'all have access to ask. So ask, why bring in Simmons for a trick play but not get 1 yard? Or is that too aggressive for y'all? Look, Kane, I think, and I mentioned this, in that situation, Jeffrey Simmons had already hurt his shoulder. We don't know the extent You don't know what the training staff talked to the coaches about. But that's a pretty good assumption that you're not going to bring in your best singular player on defense to play offense and run his body forward into guys when he could possibly have an injured shoulder.
Yeah, you want Jeffrey Simmons to be able to play any defensive snap you can. So
especially the way you run defense.
Yeah, if he was healthy, then I think you're onto something there, but not in that spot. I think there's because I don't think Vrabel was asked. It was hard to hear the questions in the post-game presser with how they had it set up in Indy, but I don't think Vrabel was asked about that particular decision, but that's a good question for today. And Sam will be at the Titans press conference at noon today to see what Vrabel has to say about that particular thing.
And Ramon, we'll get to Fulton here and transition because that's going to be a big conversation. Where was Kyle Phillips? I saw him on punt return, and I saw him get overthrown by Tannehill.
Yeah, 14 snaps on offense. Look, I think just like the Colts did with Jonathan Taylor, easing him back in, the Titans are doing the same thing with Kyle Phillips. And look, Kyle Phillips not being out there is not why the Titans lost the game either.
No.
Oh, man. All right, are we ready to talk Kristian Fulton?
Yes.
Because we have delayed the inevitable long enough here on the show. It's time to discuss Kristian Fulton. We're going to hear from Mike Vrabel and Kristian Fulton on his issues. But first, I'm going to tell you guys about the Aura app. Our sponsor, Aura, can help you out and stay safe online. Aura is where you should turn to get data brokers out of your life, because data brokers is who profits off of selling your information to spammers and telemarketers and robocallers. And Aura identifies those data brokers. For me, it was 30 data brokers sharing my information against my will. Aura stripped out my information from those data brokers, and now I don't get spam calls. I get way less junk emails for lists I never signed up for in the first place because Aura is protecting my information. And it took 5 or 6 days for Aura to get rid of those 30 data brokers. We're going to give you a 2-week free trial with our link, aura.com/ATOZ. That's our link with our sponsor, Aura, aura.com/ATOZ. They've also got great credit identity theft monitoring, password management and protection. If you've got kids on the devices at home on the Wi-Fi, parental controls for all those devices as well. So use Aura. So easy. And a 2-week free trial goes a long way. Aura.com/ATOZ.
A to Z Sports powered by BetMGM. Download the app today in your Apple or Android app store. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports. That's A to Z Sports. That bonus code will get you, and this is huge, up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet misses for new users. So take advantage. Download the BetMGM app today.
All right, so Kristian Fulton was clearly a problem. Let's go to Mike Vrabel when he was asked by Buck, very specifically, did you think about sitting Kristian Fulton during that game? And I thought Vrabel was very honest with his answer.
Yeah, there was thought. I thought wanted Kristian to challenge and do his job. And the double move is one thing. They double moved him, and I coached them even at halftime. I said, if they double move you, try to make sure that you're square and that you're, that's how we can play it. And the referee thought he slid over, late, but, we just got to make sure that we keep our eyes on our man and not in the backfield. Man coverage. We're not going to intercept the football in man coverage. Our job in man coverage is to not let our guy catch the ball, and if the ball gets tipped, then a post safety is going to probably intercept it. But we can't go, looking for interceptions in man coverage. Our eyes will be in the backfield too much. Hey, you have a second to talk to Kristian. You know what I mean? Like what I told you, his eyes were in the backfield on the one with Pittman. You can ask Kristian. Like other than that, I'm not. You can ask him as soon as I finish up.
Do you want to say anything before we ask Kristian?
No, let's ask Kristian.
All right, let's ask Kristian.
He pushed me over. Thought I would score, so it's part of the game. Thought of me personally, bad call. So life is a DB, and that's what it is.
What is starting to go wrong? 'Cause, typically you're a very technically sound corner, but some things aren't happening. What's going into that?
I feel like I was very sound today. Besides one play, with the one with 11, when he caught the out or whatever, it was on me, I guess, bad eyes. But for the most part, I think today was, technically sound. Obviously, they made some plays or whatever, but it's hard when you got to play against, the refs and the DBs. I mean, and the receivers. But life as a DB, and, I'm going to keep stepping every time. So I'll be back next week.
That play with Pittman, that was managers basically just been on the move, or the one you were talking about?
Yeah, he gave me a double move. I mean, like I said, if you own everything, they're going to try to do double moves on you. So, I mean, that's what I got to start expecting now, I guess.
You feel
So that was Kristian Fulton. There was not a lot of good words that came out of Kristian Fulton's mouth right there. So look, I think Mike Vrabel clearly explained the problem with Kristian Fulton. Kristian Fulton is not playing man defense the way he's taught. But then Kristian Fulton says when Teron asked him, like, usually you're pretty technically sound. He was not technically sound. That's what Mike Vrabel said in his answer. He's got his eyes on the quarterback playing man defense. And if you start playing cornerback when you're 7 years old, as soon as the Pop Warner quarterback has an arm strong enough to throw the football, you learn when you're playing man defense, eyes on your guy. When you're playing zone defense, eyes on the quarterback, right? But Kristian Fulton's trying to get a little greedy. And this, to me, I said earlier in the show, Kristian Fulton's in a contract year. Usually guys play well in contract years. We've seen that a lot throughout the Titans' history, right? Harold Landry being the latest. And Kristian Fulton's not. Kristian Fulton is playing for interceptions because he thinks interceptions might get him paid. But Kristian Fulton's burning his team by playing for interceptions in man defense by not being technically sound.
I don't know if he's playing for interceptions. I don't think
that's
I would
what Mike Vrabel is saying, though. That's what I am interpreting Mike Vrabel's words and translating them out to Mike Vrabel is saying Kristian Fulton.
But Mike Vrabel's not saying that.
No, he literally did. I'll play it again. And we'll listen to what Mike Vrabel said about why Fulton's having issues.
Yeah, there was thought. I thought wanted Kristian to challenge and do his job. And the double move is one thing. They double moved him, and I coached them even at halftime. I said if they double move you, try to make sure that you're square and that you're, that's how we can play it. And the referee thought he slid over, late, but we just got to make sure that we keep our eyes on our man and not in the backfield. Man coverage. We're not going to intercept the football in man coverage. Our job in man coverage is to not let our guy catch the ball, and if the ball gets tipped, then the post safety is going to probably intercept it. But we can't go, looking for interceptions in man coverage. Our eyes will be in the backfield too much.
That's exactly. So Mike Vrabel said that because Buck asked the question, and Mike Vrabel was talking to Buck like Buck was Kristian Fulton. That's exactly what Mike Vrabel, I'm sure he said with different language to Kristian Fulton. I'm sure is what do you like? Remember a couple weeks ago when Mike Vrabel said, "Do your job." Like, how does Kristian Fulton get better? He says, do your job. And doing your job is by playing the coverage it's called, not by trying to play for yourself. And Mike Vrabel also said in that press conference that guys jumped gaps in the run game trying to make a play. The Titans defense yesterday, and when they've been beat, is playing for themselves. Rashad Weaver did it too. Rashad Weaver supposed to set the edge, jumps inside the right tackle. Zach Moss bounces out for 11-yard run on first down. So this Titans defense, the young guys are playing for themselves. And Kristian Fulton is playing to get interceptions in man defense, and he's getting toasted. It's pretty clear.
How much, and this is a question, how much do you think that, and I believe after watching the Titans now for 5 weeks, this pass rush is not the same that I think we originally thought of getting to the quarterback. How big of an impact is that having on the secondary?
I think they correlate together, right?
Yeah, because, and I'm not, and this is not an out.
It's a great question. No,
I will say this on Kristian Fulton's behalf, and this is the only thing that I will say on Kristian Fulton's behalf because he's playing very bad, very poorly. It is life of a DB. The problem, like life of a DB is tough, right? Especially in this passing league when you've got guys that can catch the football, get open. They know the routes you don't. You're playing off of their moves in your defensive call. But that is life of a DB. The problem is that this has happened too much in 5 weeks.
Yeah, and like, you've heard me say it 100 times. Like, everybody expects their quarterback to complete 70% of their passes, which that means they expect the other DB to only stop at 30% of the time. So yeah, I am very forgiving of defensive backs and corners in general, typically, but I've had enough of the Kristian Fulton stuff because the excuses of blaming the refs is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why I don't
but
even go
this
to
is the
refs.
same problem because remember a few years ago, Mike Vrabel had the same thing with Malcolm Butler's eye discipline or lack thereof eye discipline. Like, here we are. What is this, 2019 all over again? And Malcolm Butler's got bad eye discipline and Kristian Fulton's got bad eye discipline where he's playing for interceptions in man when he shouldn't be. And so, the whole theme of, Jeffrey Simmons said, coach better, play better doesn't resonate if you don't fix it a couple weeks ago after the Browns loss. Is it just not working? Is it not getting through to Kristian Fulton? I don't understand. Is he pressing? Does he have the yips? Is he now? Because he also said that at the tail end of that video that Fulton talking, he said, I guess, if you're covering everything, the only thing they're going to do is double moves. So he's gassing himself up saying, yeah, I'm locking everything down. So they have to do double moves. Bro, you're not locking everything down. You're going to have a perfect quarterback rating after 3 of your first 3 games. Locking down what? Like, when they throw at you, you're either giving up a completion or a 30-yard penalty.
I don't think he has the yips yet. I don't think that could come, right? Because you get to a point where you don't believe in yourself and then you have the yips and then it's really bad. And then you will be benched.
Here's I guess, but when I say the yips, maybe that was the wrong word for it. He's pressing. I think it's because he knows he's giving up a lot of plays. And so he's thinking, I got to make a play. I got to make up.
He's trying to overcompensate.
Yeah, he's trying to make up for everything in one play. And you can't do that. That's how you're going to get cut. Like,
yeah, because, and if you don't make that play, you look really, really bad, right?
Yes.
And you clarified that, and Vrabel really, if he's trying to get the interception, they're not going to come unless you play your technique in the way that you are coached and the way the defense is called, right? I think that's the frustration from the coach's standpoint on Kristian Fulton is they are calling a certain coverage and Kristian Fulton is not defending that way.
Yeah. As a defensive back, you get your interceptions in the film room. And then you recognize when those opportunities present themselves, but you don't go hunting for interceptions. That's how you get smoked. Hunting for interceptions.
Hunting when you need something, right? When you're
yes,
and that's where he's at.
Interception. What you need is a stop, right? You need interceptions are great. They're a bonus. Interceptions need to have the right opportunity, meet the right preparation. You don't go hunting for interceptions or you're going to be done and out of the league.
All right. I want you to answer my front 4 question,
yeah,
but
yes.
I also, Austin, I want you to do this before you answer my front 4 question.
Okay.
We heard a lot of other players in the locker room say, hey, it's on me. I've got to play better. We all got to play better. What should have Kristian Fulton said instead of, I feel like I'm playing against the refs, right? What should have Kristian Fulton said after that game? Because I think we can both agree, and the chat could agree, that what he said was probably not the right statement for a guy that just gave up that many yards.
I've got to be better. My penalties are hurting my teammates. The refs are calling those penalties, so it's my job to adjust. I have to be better, or my teammates are going to start looking at me and, I'm giving up big time plays, and I can't keep doing that. As simple as that. Like, you can acknowledge the penalties and say, man, those are tough. But you know what? It's my job to adapt. Amani Hooker did it after Cleveland. Had the same type of thing. He was like, that's how they're calling it. So it's our job to adjust to it. I don't like the way they're calling it, but it's not up to me. I don't like the tush push, but if they're allowing it, we might as well do it, right? It's that whole thing.
Since you've brought the tush push up, because it's been building, right? It built from last year over to this year, and it works so many different times. You watched that game. I watched that game. The Rams were decimated at times because it's like, well, This is a first down. Like
Yeah.
we've worked so hard to get to 4th and 1 or even 4th and 2 or 3rd and 1, and it doesn't matter because that's going to work. I am curious to see how many other teams adopt it because I haven't seen as many as I feel like, as you alluded to, that should in those situations.
It's almost like there is a cheat code, right? But like a lot of people think that they're above the cheat code. It's like, oh, I don't use the cheat code. Well, I mean, like I'm over here it's like I do parlays with BetMGM. Like they're not like plus 500 parlays. They're like plus 180 to plus 200. Well, I'm making money because I'm hitting those. So
It's Christian McCaffrey. It's betting on Christian McCaffrey to score a touchdown every week.
Yeah.
Is like, does it make logical sense to do that? Well, maybe not, but the statistics show that it's going to work every
money.
single week. And
Yeah.
if you put, it may not be great odds as it is now because it's 14 straight weeks, but you still should do it because it works.
You don't go broke making a profit, right, Zach?
That's right.
All right. So you may answer your front four question.
Yes.
They correlate, right? So the Titans pass rush is not getting after quarterbacks like we expected them to. The Titans DBs are probably hurting because of lack of pressure. But I also feel like opposing offenses are not allowing the Titans edge rushers and pass rush to get to them because they know they can throw quickly on these Titans DBs. So Titans DBs are not challenging receivers at the line because they're afraid to get beat early. And so they're giving cushion, which allows quarterbacks to get rid of the ball fast. And therefore, now you've got, you're just chasing constantly. You're chasing. And so why did it work against Joe Burrow? Because Joe Burrow couldn't move. And he couldn't complete the downfield throw until yesterday. And so when Joe Burrow can't move and can't throw down the field, you can play more aggressive on the receivers. And now your rush gets after a guy who can't move. So
I agree with that analysis. It comes full circle to what we said at the beginning of the show of why we both felt that when Gardner Minshew came into that football game, he was just going to, and he did this, quick passes, get the ball out of his hands, have his route, and have the wide receivers beat the corners or tight ends, whatever it is. And he stood in the pocket, and it may have been a half a second, but he still got the ball out quickly, which affects everything. It affects the pass rush. Then the pass rush starts getting frustrated. I think we can all agree that the consistency of the front four is not what some of the other front fours in the NFL give you. Like, we keep bringing up the 49ers just because they're so damn good. But, that front four is going to get after. Even the Cowboys front four is dominant, right? You know that what you can expect. I think this year, my expectations are changing from this Titans front four, and it's not in a good way.
Yeah, I think the defense is something we're going to have to spend some more time on. But let's ask this quick question. What's the solution for Kristian Fulton's bad play? What is the solution for Kristian Fulton's bad play? I've seen a lot of suggestions that are probably not realistic. But first, the Bone and Joint Institute is where you should turn for any injury. I drove by the Bone and Joint Institute twice this weekend, to and back from past them in Franklin. It's a beautiful building. It's a great facility that can help you out get healthy from whatever injury is plaguing you in life. Injuries are always an inconvenience, so don't let it continue to linger and go get it fixed, go get it checked out. Hopefully you don't need surgery. If you do, the Bone and Joint Institute has the experts and the surgeons there, the specialists for any type of injury, or if you just need some rehab and some extra tools to help you rehab at home, they can teach you how to do that yourself to get back on the road to recovery. So check them out online in Franklin, boneandjointtn.org.
A to Z Sports powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Use the bonus code ATOZ Sports for new users. They're the king of the sports book. They got promotions. They've got a weekly parlay promotion where you play a little Barry Sanders game. You can get a parlay. I actually hit my parlay that I got from that 8-bit Barry Sanders game. So download the BetMGM app today and use that bonus code if you are a new user. It's ATOZ SPORTS.
All right, so what's the solution for Kristian Fulton's bad play? Here's the quote that Kristian had after the game loss to the Colts. I feel I was very technically sound today. Besides one play, the one with 11 where he caught the out, that was on me, I guess. But for the most part, I think today was technically sound. It's hard to play against the refs and the receivers. it's just a bad quote from a guy that's not playing very well. So what's the solution? I've seen a lot, Zach, of people saying the Titans need to trade Kristian Fulton. And I jokingly asked people for the wrong answers only on Twitter, what should the Titans trade Kristian Fulton for? And I got everything from, a stack of gum to some Gatorade coolers to old baseball players that you would trade Kristian Fulton for. They're not going to trade Kristian Fulton because Kristian Fulton has no trade value. He's a player in the last year of his contract who is playing poorly. So what's the solution though? I think it's a valid question because they got to figure it out or he's going to keep hurting you, especially when you're playing against, Lamar Jackson on Sunday in London.
Well, the chat is going with, and this is where I saw more of it, is punishment, is bench him. Curtis, King, Demetrius, Jay, MB, bench, Troy, warming up the bench. That is what I think Titans fans' solution, at least in the chat, overwhelmingly is that he needs to be punished, go to timeout, think about what you've done, think about not looking for, ball hawking and playing good coverage, playing your role within the defense. We've seen players get benched before, right? And it is a form of punishment. I agree with you. Kristian Fulton is not tradable. And it's the easiest thing to say, trade him, and they're not going to cut him. I saw some, cut him. They're not going to do that. And we've seen the Titans cut guys before, though. But
two, Parrish Cox and Jonathan Joseph.
And Kristian Fulton, I don't think is in that category. But this is a very difficult question because what's the solution? If you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's insanity. So you don't want to be insane. I do think probably the next solution, I don't bench him. I let him play in London and start in London. But if these things continuously happen, you're going to have to find another solution in the form of a different player.
I think you should sit him. I think
London?
Yeah. I think he should sit, especially because of how awful his comments were post game. Like
don't we all agree Vrabel's getting a little tired of it, right? Yeah. Like he's been too much big of a topic of conversation. We've seen Vrabel's response to questions on Kristian Fulton over the last several weeks. And Vrabel's the type of guy, when he gets tired of something, you're done. So
he's still coaching him, right? Like, and that's
he'll always coach him.
But that's the thing, though. Like, whenever a coach stops coaching you, that's when you know you're over, right? But if the coach is still investing their energy into you, then you're still there, right? Like, you still got.
When she stops texting you, he tells you everything that you need to know.
And so Run Left says he's not getting benched. I think, and there are some people saying, all right, well, who's the next man up? Well, the Titans are 1-0 when Kristian Fulton doesn't play this season. They are 1-3 when he does. Now, that's not all on him, but Trey Avery had some struggles against Keenan Allen in the Chargers offense, but he made a couple nice plays too. What's the difference between Kristian Fulton and Trey Avery right now?
Not
less
much.
Penalties for Trey Avery, more earned yards. Like, Kristian Fulton's giving up unearned yards because of his penalty situation. At least Trey Avery's out there battling and trying to do something and not just giving up penalties on pass interference calls down the field. And so I would sit Kristian Fulton, dress him, let him watch, make him go play special teams, right? Like,
punish
Zach,
him.
Yeah, you're a basketball player. Whenever you can't shoot, go play defense, go rebound. Maybe the shots will start falling. Go chase kicks. Do that.
Because maybe you go down there and you make a tackle and you get some juice back, you get some confidence, and it's a form of punishment in that sense, but it also can be a confidence builder that, hey, I got knocked down a peg, but I need to prove to myself and everybody else I can still play.
Give him one job. Give him one job to be a gunner on punt and say, go do this job like you're the best at it, and then focus on that.
Depends on his personality. You got to have a little bit of dog in you to be that type of guy.
His personality is making excuses, so that's why I don't want to.
That's why I say that it may not be setting him up for success. and I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know Kristian Fulton. I don't know the personality, but if you're going to put him in a situation to be a dog, you got to have some dog in you to achieve that and get out what the purpose of it is. I don't think that he will be benched to start London. I don't think it's out of the question that he doesn't get benched if his play doesn't improve while in London.
I think the London game is a bonus. If the Titans win it, great. If they lose it, it's okay. It's a weird game. I know it's 2-4, but I think you can still win the division with a 2-4 start to the season. But I think you have a chance to see what somebody else can do, let Fulton watch, and then go to the bye week and see if he figures it out on the other side. Because you got to have, and I said the same thing with the offensive line. We asked the question with me and Jack last week, what's the Titans' ideal offensive line? My answer was for Andre Dillard to be the starting left tackle. Your ideal situation is that Kristian Fulton is top corner. But you have to get him to that. And right now, he's not anywhere close to being it. So I think you should sit him down and see if he learns from it.
Andre said all offseason Fulton wasn't a 1 or a good 2. Burks isn't a 1 either. We can talk about Burks later this week. Titans fans attacked and laughed at me. Now, well, we're 5 games now. And they're 2-3 within those 5 games. They've played well at times, and they've played worse more than they've played good, and that's why they're 2-3 and not 3-2, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty simple on watching this team and what they represent. But Austin, they didn't make any sort of big jump. And I will say this every single week that I'm on this show, Austin. The deeper we get into the season, the bigger the business decisions are going to have to be at the quarterback position.
Even if the quarterback's not the problem.
Even if the quarterback is not the problem. And that involves Malik Willis and Will Levis and paying your starter $30 million.
All right, Zach, let's wrap this show up with a Monday age game. This is always fun. A little age game, a little positivity in the show. But first, Wilson County Hyundai. That's who you should make a part of your new car buying process. Go see our friend Payne Bone and his team in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com for your new rides. And check it out. All their great inventory. Once again, wilsoncountyhyundai.com. So, Zach, just as we always do for the age game, I have the chat hidden so I cannot see the answers. Let's see if I can get to 3-2 in the age game instead of 2-3 like the Titans.
Okay, so let's go a little old school here.
Okay.
Saturday night, I watched the USC Trojans for the first time in their entirety. I needed them to cover 21 to win a parlay. That did not happen. And Lincoln Riley had some poor coaching at the end of that game against Arizona. But with the USC connection, they ended up winning and continuing to stay undefeated. And I saw my first real, Caleb Williams. I've seen him play, but he has a unique feature. So we're going to play a little Kevin Bacon game of USC. That weekend actually was kind of a superstar-studded weekend. And that includes one alum, Will Ferrell, going and DJing at a frat house. How old is Will Ferrell? That is the question. And the first person, I'm going to put that in the comments, how old is Will Ferrell? And you'll have your chance. But Will Ferrell, anchorman and old school, I don't know if you caught that, but that is the question on what we're trying to do.
How old is Will Ferrell? Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can do what I did for the Earl Campbell win that I had. So
and this is the best part is they can't Google it because it's the first one to get it, right? So you can't some
speed and accuracy. So I think Anchorman came out in 2003 or 2004. I believe in my prior research, Will Ferrell was around 36 or 37 when that came out, but I think he's older than 57. He looks older than 57.
Well, I don't know. There he looks
young. He looks hip.
He looks like a fifth year.
He looks like Steve Buscemi holding a skateboard. My official answer, Will Ferrell is 61. That's my official answer.
Final A to Z.
Yeah, final A to Z. 61 years old for
Austin has guessed that Will Ferrell is 61 years old. Let's go to the chat. Mark D goes older 64. That is incorrect. Ashley goes 57. That is incorrect. Rooney 52. No bueno. Cody 60. That's wrong. 73. He's not walking around with a walker, Steven. That is incorrect. Brent goes 62. That's wrong. 57 is also wrong. Matt says 69. That's nice, but that's wrong. Borkington 62. Wrong. Andre 53. 67. We've already established is wrong. Jabu goes 63. That is wrong. We have our correct answer after all of that in the chat. And Austin, it is not 61 years old. Will Ferrell, with a birthday, July 16th, 1967, is 56. 56 years old.
Really?
So, yeah. And Titans Kyle is the champion of the age game. 56. He looks older than 56. I'll give you that. But when I saw that, I was like, this is going to be a good age game because I thought we were going to get some older guesses, and we did. So Titans Kyle, you are the champion of this week's age game. Congratulations. We are showering you with gifts and love and goodwill. Titans Kyle, congratulations. 56, Will Ferrell.
I was right. He was 36 in Anchorman. If I would have followed my gut, I would have been right.
Yep. You went with, because I will say this, sometimes Will Ferrell looks really old, and then sometimes he doesn't look as old. I feel like when he grows his hair out and is a little unkempt, it's like David Letterman. When he just, I mean, he looked 75 when he did that, right? But he's not. Mm-hmm. So
wait, did you say what year was he born?
July 16th, 1967.
Okay, so 56. Man,
well, I mean,
well, somebody in the chat says somebody MB misheard you. Thought you said 56, 1956, but he was 67.
He is 56.
Born in 67.
Born in 67. If I misspoke, which I don't think I did.
No, you were right. I just saw the comment.
And we've got a little, maybe this is shade for you. I've seen this a lot in the comments. Here, to wrap this show up, I thought that your tush push rant or I thought that was great.
Thank you.
A lot of people are saying that you were trying to be Skip Bayless. I'll come to your defense. I didn't think that at all. I thought that was just frustration on why, or you're not going around throwing your jerseys in the trash can like a loser, but
I'm not hyperventilating into a phone camera.
Yeah, and you're not wearing a necklace and Jordans.
Yeah,
with a sports
you don't know
coat.
what shoes I'm wearing.
You're not wearing a sport coat and a necklace and a t-shirt.
No.
So, yeah, I don't think you're Skip Bayless. I thought that rant was very valid.
I think I'm not Skip Bayless. I'm just correct. That's what I am.
Well, now that sounds like Skip Bayless.
Oh man! Hey, great show today. Mike Vrabel addressing Titans media at noon. Sam will be live for Titans at 2. So Titans at 2 this afternoon. I want to, have Sam go ask about that 4th and 1 shotgun decision and maybe why the Titans are not adopting the tush push in the last year it's allowed. That's something we can keep out with. So Titans at 2 with Sam every Monday and Thursday here on these same channels. But Buck Rising is live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime at 8. Make sure you like the show before you head out of here because we get great interactive audience today. Hit that like button on Facebook and YouTube before you leave. That goes a long way for us. Appreciate it as always. Have a great rest of your Monday.